Bob Arum said he could have bought a house in Malibu with the money he lost from Terence Crawford. But one of the things that went unnoticed was the amount of money he cost Terence Crawford by not properly promoting him. Terence Crawford could have bought Beyonce and Jay-Z house. Bob Arum seemed to be fixated on Lomachenko from the moment he was able to sign him. He had on his blinders. Everybody else got subpar promotion, but he rolled out the red carpet for Lomachenko. He wanted to turn him into something that he simply was not. Lomachenko is one of the greatest amateurs I've ever seen. If you look at his amateur record on paper, it's crazy. He is a Hall of Famer. He's a decorated professional. However, he was never the star or superstar that Bob Arum thought he was going to be. One of the things that Bob did that I felt really sabotaged Terence Crawford's career is I've never watched a Terence Crawford fight and that was like the only thing going on. Every time Terence Crawford was fighting, it was like a lot of traffic. And what I mean by this, I'll give you an example, because I feel like he's doing the same thing to Shakur. Shakur fought on April 8th. And I just want you can Google, type in April 8 boxing. Shakur's name is probably not going to come up. I believe Matchroom had a card that day. The Zone had a card that day. Brian Mendoza fought Fondora that day. And Adesanya fought Pereira or whatever. He fought him that day. Sorry for butchering his name. And when I tell you that Shakur Stevenson trended for about 5 minutes on Twitter, that's it. Right? The Mendoza Fondora knockout upset, it put what Shakur did in a huge shadow, right? And then what Adesanya did, by the time Adesanya knocked out Pereira, it was over. Shakur who? He didn't even give that man his own moment. And he consistently did this with Terence Crawford. Every time Terence Crawford fought, something was going on. Every time. And what's funny, even when Terence Crawford left and he fought on BOK Prime, Top Rank had a card then. Like, it was very consistent. And another thing that was consistent was Lomachenko typically would fight a week or two later, or a week before, because he would basically use Terence Crawford fights to promote Lomachenko. So much so that Earl Spence spoke out against it. There's a video, and I cannot find it. I'm going to look for it. It has to be on Fight Hype, Fight Hub, or ES News. And Earl Spence was like backstage of a Terence Crawford show, and he was like, they're not promoting him right. And he basically said, in fact, they just promoted Lomachenko. And they had asked him, so what do you think is going on? He's like, I don't even think they care to promote him. He just keeps winning. This came out of Earl Spence's mouth. So I want to say that Terence Crawford had to be at 140 because Earl just spoke so candidly about it that I don't think that, there was any like beef undertones or anything like that. And I'll look for that video and see if I could find that for you guys. But it was little situations like that to like they're using his fights to promote other fighters. And him just never getting his moment. Even to the point of his story getting out there, just how many people you see on social media embracing his story, his relationship with his mom, his parents not being there, none of his games and stuff like that, and how that weighed on him as a kid. Just perseverance from him doing knucklehead shit to growing up to trying to be a better man and a better father. Like all of this shit, this is the American story, right? This is things that people, all walks of life, all races can relate to. This is just not a black thing. You know what I mean? A lot of people did knucklehead shit when they was younger and grew up to be something different. A lot of people know what it feels like for their father not to be in the household. With the divorce rate and all the rest of that shit, a lot of people, dad live across town and the psychological effects and, kids acting up in school because of that and being just angry, and then your mom trying to be your dad and and maybe she too nice or too hard on you. All that shit, that's relatable stuff that could have easily been put out there to the public. But all of the promotional time, all of the dollars and everything, all the effort seems to be behind other people when Terence Crawford was at Top Rank. And Bob is definitely to blame for that. Like, even if we look at Terence Crawford's fights, let's look at the BOK Prime fight, right? $10 million. We're going to go at $10 million because that's what they said, right? I ain't going to do no conspiracy theory stuff. So we had $10 million. The Spence fight probably going to bring in about $25 million. We had $35 million right there. So we got the rematch. The rematch, I'll probably say, going to be a little less. Maybe $15 million, right? We're at $50 million. And if he could pull off this Canelo fight, he go at least make $35 million. He could have bought Beyonce and Jay-Z house. And that's in less than 2 years' time. So Bob definitely dropped the ball. He definitely needs some criticism. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I was Shakur, I would be looking at this, man. Top Rank seems to be a great place to start your career, but it ain't no way in hell I would stay at Top Rank too long.